Deep in a forgotten forest, a bored boy from the city stumbles upon a secret that could shatter the line between worlds. A shimmering creature hidden in the shadows, a mysterious pendant pulsing with ancient power, and a dangerous force closing in to claim it all. What begins as a simple act of curiosity will awaken a bond that could save or destroy two realms forever. If you are new to the channel, then please subscribe to the channel and like the video, and tell us in the comments where are you watching from. Now, let's jump into the story. Liam Crowder never asked to spend his summer in a small, quiet town, far from the noise and excitement of the city. He had lived his whole life, surrounded by tall buildings, busy streets, and the laughter of his friends. Now, instead of late-night games and neon lights, there were dirt roads, creaky porches, and the sound of crickets filling the air. His mother said it would be good for him, a chance to reconnect with family roots. To Liam, it felt like being dropped into another century. His great-aunt Miriam lived in an old farmhouse on the edge of endless forest. The paint was peeling, the floors groaned under every step, and the attic smelled of dust and forgotten things. 3 weeks had passed since Liam arrived, and each day seemed longer than the last. He had read every comic book he brought twice, explored every corner of the yard, and even given names to the spiders living above his bed. Nothing exciting ever happened here. On the 23rd day, boredom pushed Liam farther than he had gone before. He decided to follow a narrow path behind the house, one that twisted deeper into the woods. Tall trees blocked out most of the sunlight, and the air smelled of pine and damp earth. The only sounds were the crunch of leaves under his sneakers and the occasional rustle of some unseen animal. The path ended near a steep drop where a shallow ravine cut through the land. Liam was about to turn back when something caught his eye. Between two moss-covered boulders, almost hidden by hanging vines, was a thin crack just wide enough for him to slip through. From inside came a faint silver glow, soft but steady. Liam hesitated. Common sense told him to leave it alone, but curiosity pulled at him stronger than caution. He took out his phone and switched on the flashlight. With one deep breath, he pushed through the vines and squeezed into the narrow gap. Inside, the space opened into a small cavern. The walls glittered with crystal-like stones that caught and scattered the light, making the place feel like it was lit by stars. The silver glow came from the center of the chamber, where a tiny creature rested on a bed of dried leaves and small shiny objects. Liam froze, his heart thudding. The creature was no bigger than a kitten, with scales that shimmered green when the light touched them. Its wings were folded neatly against its sides, thin and delicate, like the petals of a flower. Two bright amber eyes studied Liam with a curious, almost intelligent gaze. Without thinking, Liam whispered, "Whoa, what are you?" His voice echoed softly against the cavern walls. The creature tilted its head, as if trying to understand. It didn't run, but it didn't come closer either. Liam slowly crouched down, searching his pockets. He found a small pack of crackers and opened it carefully. "Are you hungry?" he asked, holding out a piece. The creature's nostrils flared. It crept forward on light, careful steps, then snatched a cracker and retreated to its pile. Liam watched, amazed, as it nibbled quickly, crumbs clinging to its snout. Something about the moment felt magical, as if the forest had been waiting for this meeting. Liam stayed for a while, talking softly, even though he wasn't sure the creature understood. He decided he would come back the next day with more food. As the daylight faded, he made his way home, the image of the shimmering creature filling his thoughts. That night, as he passed the kitchen on his way to bed, he heard his great-aunt speaking on the phone in a hushed voice. "The readings are strange again," she said. "It might be starting." There was a pause. Then, "No, he doesn't know anything. The seal should hold, but if it breaks..." Her voice trailed off. Liam stopped in the hallway, his curiosity sparking again. He couldn't catch every word, but something about the tone sent a chill through him. Later, lying in bed, he thought about the glow in the cavern and the way the creature had looked at him. He wondered if his great-aunt's words had anything to do with what he had found. By morning, he had decided it didn't matter if it did. He was going back. The forest felt different that day, alive with quiet energy. Liam carried a backpack with bread, bits of fruit, and a few shiny bottle caps he had found in the barn. He hoped the creature would like them. He pushed through the vines again and stepped into the cavern. The tiny dragon, because by now he was sure that's what it must be, was waiting. It chirped softly, a sound like distant wind chimes, and hopped closer as Liam unpacked his offerings. As the dragon ate, Liam studied its wings, its scales, the way its tail curled neatly around its feet. It wasn't like anything he had seen in books or movies. It was real, and it was here, in this hidden corner of the foe. He decided to name it Spark, because of the way its scales caught the light, like sparks from a fire. The name seemed to fit, and the dragon didn't seem to mind. When Liam left the cavern that afternoon, Spark followed him to the edge of the rocks before turning back. Liam glanced over his shoulder more than once on the walk home, wondering what he had stumbled into and what it might mean for both of them. He didn't know yet that this was only the beginning, that a simple act of sharing food had set in motion something far greater than he could imagine. The next few days passed quickly for Liam Crowder. Each morning, he would slip out of the farmhouse with a backpack of food and small shiny things, heading into the forest to see Spark. The little dragon grew more comfortable with him, greeting him at the cavern entrance with soft chirps and bright, curious eyes. But on the 6th morning, something different stirred in Liam's mind. As he sat on the edge of his bed, lacing his sneakers, he remembered something from long ago. He had been 6 years old when his grandmother, frail but smiling, placed a tiny brass key in his hand. "Keep this safe, Liam," she had said. "One day it will open something meant only for you." He had tucked it away in the bottom drawer of his old travel sketchbook and never thought about it again, until now. The memory wouldn't leave him, and by afternoon, he was climbing the creaky stairs to the attic. Dust floated in the sunlight, streaming through the small window, and old boxes lined the walls. Liam dug into a pile of books until he found the sketchbook. The brass key was still taped to the back cover. In the far corner of the attic stood a cedar chest, its lid carved with patterns worn smooth by time. The key slid into the lock with a soft click. Inside were layers of yellowed letters, faded photographs, and a smaller wooden box covered in strange, twisting symbols. Liam tilted his head. Certain the pattern seemed to shift if he looked away for even a second. He lifted the lid, and there it was, a pendant on a silver chain. It was shaped like a tiny dragon curled around a deep blue stone that shimmered like it held the night sky inside. When Liam picked it up, the pendant felt warm against his skin, almost like it was alive. Something deep in his chest told him Spark needed to see this. That afternoon, Liam carried the pendant in his pocket as he made his way through the forest. Spark was waiting, perched on a rock, wings twitching in the breeze. Liam knelt by the fire pit he had built days ago and placed a few dry sticks inside. With a match, he lit a small flame that sent flickering light across the clearing. Spark hopped closer, drawn to the warmth. Liam reached into his pocket and pulled out the pendant. The blue stone caught the firelight, sending patterns of light dancing across Spark's emerald scales. "This was my grandmother's," Liam said softly. "I thought you might like it." Spark's pupils widened, and its entire body seemed to tremble. It stepped forward, head low, eyes locked on the pendant. Liam held it out across the fire, the chain swinging gently. The dragon rose onto its hind legs and stretched its neck toward the stone. When Spark's claw touched it, a soft sound, like a quiet chime, echoed through the air. The stone began to glow brighter, pulsing in time with Liam's heartbeat. The glow grew stronger, surrounding Spark in a swirling light. Liam stepped back, his eyes wide. "Spark, what's happening?" he whispered. The dragon's small body lifted off the ground, wings spreading wide. In the glow, its form began to change. Scales deepened in color, wings expanded, and the delicate frame grew larger, stronger. The transformation happened in seconds. When the light faded, Spark was no longer the size of a kitten. Now it stood as tall as a horse, wings arching high above its head. The pendant fell to the ground, still glowing faintly. Liam's mouth fell open. "You're huge," he breathed. A voice came from behind him. "I see you found it." Liam spun around. His great-aunt Miriam stood at the edge of the clearing, her eyes on the pendant. She didn't look surprised, and she didn't look afraid. Instead, her face carried a kind of quiet sadness. "You knew about this?" Liam asked, his voice shaking. Miriam stepped forward and picked up the pendant. Her fingers traced the silver dragon and the blue stone. "Our family has guarded this for generations. It's called the Nexus Stone. It holds the power to connect our world to another, the realm where dragons live." Liam glanced at Spark, who was watching Miriam with sharp, intelligent eyes. "So, he's from there?" Miriam nodded. "Yes, and now that the pendant has been activated, others will know. Not everyone who learns of dragons wants to protect them." A chill ran through Liam. "Others?" She met his gaze. "There are people who would try to control this power. They've been searching for the Nexus Stone for years, and now they'll know it's been awakened." Liam's hands curled into fists. "What do we do?" Miriam's eyes softened. "For now, you need to understand what you're part of. Spark is more than a friend. He's your bond. That bond gives the stone its power, but it also makes you both targets." Liam looked at Spark again, feeling the strange, steady warmth of their connection. He didn't know exactly what it meant yet, but he knew one thing for certain. Whatever came next, he wasn't going to leave Spark's side. Miriam placed the pendant gently into his palm. "Keep it safe, Liam. The call has been made, and once it starts, it cannot be ignored." The fire crackled between them, the last light of day sinking behind the trees. Liam closed his fingers around the pendant, feeling its faint pulse, like a heartbeat, one that matched his own. He didn't know what dangers were coming, but he could feel it in the air. The real story was only beginning. Night settled over the forest, wrapping the trees in deep shadows. Liam Crowder sat in his room, the pendant on the bedside table glowing faintly. Spark rested outside beneath the old oak tree, his large wings folded tight, eyes scanning the darkness. Something in the air felt heavier, as if the forest itself was holding its breath. Miriam had warned Liam that others would sense the pendant's awakening. Her words echoed in his mind. Not everyone wants to protect dragons. He didn't know who these people were, but the idea of someone trying to take Spark filled him with a cold fear he couldn't shake. Sometime past midnight, a faint hum reached his ears. At first, he thought it was the wind, but it grew louder, steadier, and sharper. Spark's head lifted, his nostrils flaring. He let out a low rumble, deep and tense. Moments later, Miriam appeared at Liam's door. Her face was pale but focused. "They found us," she said quietly. "We have to move now." "Who?" Liam asked, pulling on his jacket. "The division," she replied. "They track magical energy. The pendant's power drew them straight here." Liam's heart raced. "What do they want?" Miriam's voice was firm. "Control, and they'll stop at nothing to get it. Take Spark and head for the old hunting cabin in the North Woods. It's hidden by protections your grandmother set up years ago. They won't find you there." "What about you?" Liam's voice cracked. "I'll delay them," she said simply. "It's the only way to give you a head start. Go, Liam, now." There was no time to argue. Liam grabbed the pendant, slipped it over his neck, and ran outside. Spark lowered himself to the ground, and Liam climbed onto his back. With one powerful leap, they rose into the air, the wind whipping against his face. Below, lights began to flicker through the trees, flashlights and something sharper, like laser sights. He caught a glimpse of dark figures moving with precision, their equipment glinting under the moonlight. Miriam stood at the edge of the yard, calm but unyielding, as the shadows closed in around her. Spark banked hard, carrying them away from the farmhouse and deeper into the forest. The trees blurred beneath them, the sound of the wind mixing with Liam's pounding heartbeat. After a long flight, Spark descended into a small clearing. The old hunting cabin stood at the far end, weathered and half-hidden by overgrown brush. Liam slid off Spark's back, his legs unsteady. Inside, the cabin smelled of pine and old wood. It was small but sturdy, with a stone fireplace and shelves lined with dusty jars. On one shelf sat a worn, leather-bound book. Liam pulled it down and read the title. The Crowder Codex, a guide to the realm of Draymore and its guardians. He opened it carefully. Pages were filled with drawings of dragons, slender winged shapes in mid-flight, fierce eyes, added, butt, and curling tails. Notes in faded ink described each one, their strengths, and the history of their kind. A section near the back caught his attention. The Nexus Stone. It read, "Crafted from crystallized dragonfire and human skill. The Nexus Stone is both a key and a lock to the gateway between worlds. Its power depends on the bond between the Keeper and the dragon. If the stone is fractured, the barrier between realms will weaken, leading to a merge that will bring destruction to both worlds." Liam's eyes moved to the last note, written in a hurried hand. Should the stone be cracked, there may still be time to restore it, if the missing shard is found. He closed the book slowly, his mind racing. The pendant was already cracked. Spark, who had been watching him closely, moved his head closer until their eyes met. A wave of images flooded Liam's mind. Dark clouds twisting over mountains, storms tearing through cities, and hundreds of dragons spilling into a sky that wasn't tea. Then, a second image. The pendant whole again, glowing with bright blue fire, sealing a tear in what looked like the very fabric of the air. "You're saying we still have time?" Liam whispered. Spark's voice touched his thoughts, not in words exactly, but in feelings. Beginning, not complete, must find the peace. Liam looked down at the pendant hanging from his neck. Where? Spark's mind sent him a flash of something hidden in the roots of a massive tree, a place surrounded by mist. Before Liam could ask more, the old radio on the shelf crackled to life. Static filled the room. Then his great-aunt's voice came through, faint but urgent. "Liam, if you're in the cabin, press the talk button twice." He did. "Good," she continued. "I've convinced them you're far away from here, but that won't last. Listen carefully. The missing piece of the stone was hidden by your father before he died. He said only a true Crowder could find it. I never understood what he meant. But the pendant's fracture is already attracting attention. The longer it remains broken, the worse it will get." "Where do I start?" Liam asked, but static cut her off. The line went silent. Liam stood in the quiet cabin, the pendant warm against his chest. Spark watched him closely, as if waiting for his choice. The hum of the forest outside felt different now, less peaceful, more watchful. The division was still out there, and every moment they stayed in one place felt like an invitation for trouble. Liam took a deep breath and turned to Spark. "We find the shard, we fix the pendant, and we protect both worlds." Spark's eyes glowed faintly in the dim light. Outside, the wind picked up, carrying the scent of rain and the faint echo of distant footsteps in the dark. The shadows were still coming, but now Liam knew they wouldn't be running forever. They had a purpose, and that purpose began now. Morning light crept through the cracks in the cabin walls, touching Liam Crowder's face and pulling him from a restless sleep. Outside, the forest was wrapped in a pale mist that drifted between the trees like a living thing. Spark stood at the edge of the clearing, wings half open, eyes fixed on the horizon. Liam sat up, rubbing his eyes. The events of the last day came rushing back. The pendant, the transformation, the division, and his great aunt's urgent warning. The missing shard was out there, and only he could find it. He stepped outside, the damp air cool against his skin. Spark turned his head, his gaze steady. A flicker of thought brushed against Liam's mind. Images of a massive tree with roots twisting deep into the earth, surrounded by swirling fog. "That's where it is," Liam said quietly. "The shard." Spark lowered himself, inviting Liam to climb onto his back. Without hesitation, Liam swung up, gripping the spines along Spark's neck. With a powerful leap, Spark launched into the air. The forest spread out beneath them, a sea of green and gold in the morning light. They flew north, following the image Spark had shared. The wind whistled in Liam's ears, but his thoughts were fixed on what lay ahead. The pendant hung against his chest, its cracked stone pulsing faintly, as if it too knew they were getting closer. After an hour, the mist thickened, curling around them until the trees were only shapes in the haze. Spark slowed, gliding low over the treetops before landing in a small clearing. At its center stood the tree from Spark's vision. It was ancient, its trunk wide enough to shelter a house, its roots twisting and turning like the coils of a great serpent. Liam slid to the ground and stepped closer. The air here was different, heavy, charged with something that made his skin tingle. He knelt by the largest root and ran his fingers along the moss-covered wood. Spark crouched beside him, eyes watching closely. "Where do?" Liam murmured. Spark's mind touched his again, guiding his hands to a narrow gap between two roots. Liam dug into the soft earth, pulling away clumps of dirt and tangled roots until his fingers hit something solid. He pulled it free, a small shard of blue crystal, no bigger than a pebble, but glowing with the same light as the pendant. Liam held it up, the glow reflecting in his eyes. "We found it." Spark made a low sound, almost like a purr. Liam placed the shard against the cracked stone in the pendant. The moment they touched, a surge of energy shot through him. Light flared, so bright it forced him to close his eyes. The shard sank into place, and the fracture sealed with a soft chime. When he opened his eyes, the pendant was whole again, the blue stone burning with steady light. The air around them shifted, and a faint shimmer appeared in front of the tree, like a curtain made of water and starlight. Through it, Liam caught glimpses of mountains under twin sun, rivers of silver, and dragons of every shape and color flying through a sky brighter than any he had seen. It was the dragon realm, alive and breathtaking. Spark stepped toward the shimmer, pausing to look back at Liam. In that moment, Liam felt the bond between them more clearly than ever. He knew Spark could go home now, back to his own kind. But instead, Spark turned away from the gateway. He pressed his snout gently against Liam's shoulder, and the shimmer began to fade. "You're staying?" Liam asked, his voice soft. The answer came as a warm rush of thoughts. Protection, friendship, the work still ahead. The gateway vanished completely, leaving only the ancient tree and the quiet mist. Liam placed the pendant back around his neck, the weight of it both comforting and heavy with meaning. They returned to the cabin by midday. The air felt calmer, though Liam knew the division would still be looking for them. But now, the pendant's energy was whole, its light hidden from prying eyes. That evening, the old radio crackled again. Miriam's voice came through, faint but steady. "You did it, didn't you?" "Yes," Liam replied. "The pendant is fixed." There was a pause, then a smile in her voice. "Good. That will buy us time. But remember, Liam, keeping it safe is only part of your role. You're a keeper now. The bond between you and Spark is rare. It will shape the future of both worlds." Liam glanced at Spark, who was resting near the cabin's door, his eyes half closed but alert. "I understand," he said. "We'll meet again soon," Miriam promised. "For now, stay hidden, stay ready." The radio went silent. As night fell, Liam and Spark sat outside, watching the stars appear one by one. The forest stretched out before them, vast and full of secrets. Liam didn't know what challenges would come next. He only knew he wouldn't face them alone. Spark's presence was a constant reminder of the choice they had both made: to protect, to stand together, and to guard the fragile balance between worlds. The pendant rested against Liam's chest, its steady glow hidden from sight, but not from the hearts it connected. In the quiet of the forest, under the endless sky, the boy and the dragon waited, not for the end, but for the next beginning.